Hi everyone, you've been learning about pictographs and how to read pictographs. Today you're going to be learning how to ask questions about your pictograph. So here I've got for you an example of a pictograph. Again, I'm using flowers in my garden. And so I've got red flowers, blue flowers, orange flowers, and purple flowers. So before we can ask questions about our graph, or sometimes we call it making conclusions when we answer these questions about graphs, we're going to have a look at the data and think about our data for a minute. So having a look at the red flowers, I can see that there are 1, 2, 3 red flowers in my garden. There is 1 blue flower in my garden. There are 1, 2 orange flowers in my garden. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 purple flowers in my garden. All right, so now that I've had a look at all the data, I can start to think about some questions that I might ask about this or some conclusions that I might make. So first, by asking questions, I should then be able to answer my questions and be able to tell some information to people about my data. Now, in your book, when you're writing your questions, it's actually going to give you a little phrase or a word that they want you to include in your question. So I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So your first example is they want you to write a question using the words how many. Okay, so I can start my sentence with that and I can say how many, and then I can just pick one. So I think I'm going to talk about the red one. How many flowers are red? Like this. And then don't forget, you've got to have that question mark on all of your questions. That's really important when we are writing our sentences. It's capital and then a question mark for an asking sentence. All right, so how many flowers are red? And then I should be able to answer that question. 3 flowers are red. I could have said how many flowers are blue, or how many flowers are orange, or how many flowers are purple. For this kind of question, you can just choose one. All right, now the next words that they want you to use are the most. All right, so what you're looking for, and I bet you already know the answer is going to be purple because you're looking for the most. Now, how do we word that in a question? So I would word that like this. Which flower is the most common? Okay, so there's my word right there, most. And we often use this word common with it when we're looking to see which one you see the most, which one is the most common. So you can use that word most in a sentence like this with the word common. And then I would answer the question. I would say purple is the most common flower. All right, now another word that they'd like you to use in your question sentence is the word fewer. Just on its own like that, fewer. So now I'm going to think about how I would word an asking sentence like that. So I might start like this again. Which flower is fewer than the rest? Okay, and there's my word fewer there, just on its own. Which flower is fewer than the rest? So then I would answer my question. I would say blue is fewer than the rest. Okay, you can also think of it as which one is the fewest, which color has the fewest amount of flowers. All right, now we're getting into questions that want you to use a number answer. All right, so they've included the words how many so that you can do a number answer. So it wants you to use this little phrase first, how many more? All right, so I would be using that when I compare. And you can pick any two to compare as long as one has more than the other. And I can just start, how many more? Okay, and then I'll have to pick now. So how many more? Maybe I'll do orange. How many more orange? And if I choose orange, that means I'll have to use blue next because orange has only more than blue. So how many more orange? than blue, like this. And again, I'm going to be looking for a number answer, and I know that it is one more orange because I can see that space there. How many more orange than blue? All right, now you may also see that you might have to start a sentence or use these words in a sentence that say how many fewer. So again, looking for a number answer. How many fewer? So how many fewer? Now again, I'll have to pick two. How many fewer? And then I think I'll do how many fewer red than, and now I'll have to choose one that has more than red, so I'm going to use purple. How many fewer red than purple? Okay, and then looking at my pictograph, I can see that there are 2 fewer red than purple. All right, so remembering when you're writing your asking questions that you don't forget your question marks and your capitals, and then you can write a nice sentence answer with a period to give your answers to these questions. So I wanted to go over this with you so that you kind of had an idea of how to word your questions when you're talking about the data in the graph. All right, so have fun and be creative, and I'll talk to you soon.